It's time for the ERT podcast. Here is your starting lineup. Starting at the number one co-host, Mr. Coaster Heat himself, Big. And your starting number two co-host, the faceless man, Surveillance. And starting at producer, the Intamin Stan, Chris. Warning: this episode may include explicit language. Please listen at your own risk.
Welcome to a very special edition of the ERT podcast. Coming at you like a chupacabra, it's your boy Biff. And as always, I am joined by the Coy to my Vance, the Hall to my Nash, the Fiesta to my Texas, the one and only evil detective, Surveillance.
Hello, everybody. Super excited to be here. Got a great guest lined up. Over to you, Chris.
Oh, I can't wait to hear who the guests are.
And the third man, the man that holds us all together, speaking of triple C, the glue who holds us all together, the producer, the maestro, the spoiler, the man who wants you to bring Intamin to Texas more than anybody else, Triple C Coaster Conquest, Chris.
What can I say? Happy to be here.
And ladies and gentlemen, the biggest guest we have ever had on this show. He is the never seen 17, the last true park president, the future vice president of Six Flags, the one and only, the man, the GOAT, Jeffrey Siebert.
Well, hello, everybody. Don't know quite what all that means, but I'm glad to be here. Glad to be with you guys today.
I equate a lot of stuff to wrestling, Jeffrey, just in case you didn't know. I used to be a pro wrestler. I equate a lot of stuff to wrestling. The Never Seen 17 was the entrance for John Cena in his last year. So that's pretty much me saying that you are the GOAT of this community. One of the GOATs, one of the best. Regional Vice President of Texas Parks. I forgot to throw that in there. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. The biggest guest we've ever had for real, Jeffrey Siebert. Once again,
Thank you, guys. Look forward to having fun.
Super excited to have you here. We've been really pumped talking about this every time we record. We're like, okay, only 3 more weeks left. Okay, only 2 more weeks left.
Well, I appreciate the countdown. That's awesome.
We appreciate your time. We feel like this kind of puts us on the map a little bit and solidifies us. It's not just 3 guys who talk a lot of crap and make a lot of stupid jokes, So for those that are living under a rock and don't know about you, Jeff, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started and some of your history for those who may not know what you did before you got to Fiesta, Texas?
Well, if there's one thing that you know about me, it's that I'm a fellow fan. I've been a long-standing coaster fan my entire life. Absolutely loved it. Used to pretend my backyard was an amusement park, and my friends had to go on all my makeshift rides, and usually the summers were filled with bruised knees and other stuff and the crazy contraptions that we were building in the backyard. Passed our Cleveland summers away. So I am a card-carrying ACE member since 1991, and just like you guys, just absolutely love and adore theme parks. I've calculated I've spent so far more than 9,000 days in theme parks in my entire life, and look forward to continuing that just trucking away. So when I'm not working, I'm playing at someone else's park. So as new rides and attractions open throughout the country, around the world, I just can't wait to get on there and experience it with everybody else. So I just wanted to know my entire life that this is what I wanted to do. Wanted to just make sure that we're taking care of each other and create new great memories. And but what better way to do that than actually get in the industry? So I've been working at parks since I started at Americana in the early 90s. And then from Americana, worked for Disney Sports Division for a while when they had the Mighty Ducks and the Angels.
Oh, nice.
Worked at Paramount Parks back in the day in the late 90s and early 2000s when we were building Italian Jump, Stud Tracks, Son of Beasts, Tomb Raider the Ride, you name it. Then from there to Schlitterbahn Water Parks. And that's what brought me to the great state of Texas in 2005. And I've lived in Texas since 2005, working first for Schlitterbahn, then for Six Flags as marketing director, then park president, and now the regional GM for the whole great state of Texas. So no doubt there is lots of fun under the sun, and the biggest adventures are yet to come. So that gives you the quick synopsis, but most importantly, just a fan. Just love talking with you guys as fellow fans, because again, that's why we do what we do every single day. We work so others can play.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What a great answer. Well, you were speaking earlier before we went on the air about it being 60 degrees down there. I was down there a few weeks ago. I was actually at the park. It was a nice, balmy 79 degrees, man. It was really weird for me to be at a park that's all decked out for Christmas and it's 80 degrees. You know what I'm saying?
We plow through those cold winter storm days. Luckily, we'll survive our way through, and it gets down to the 50s. And at least you're right. Growing up in Cleveland, it does seem unusual that we're sweating during the holidays. But at least at night, when it gets dark and all the lights come on, and we have our artificial snow that's blown in the streets, at least for us Northerners that have moved to the South, it does give that holiday mix, and kind of fills the need with the Christmas carols in the background and all the live experiences, and just gives us the right spirit of holidays. But as you know, the park, if you walk around the park today, the trees are down, the decorations are down, and we are decorating a Fiesta Texas for Mardi Gras. And of course, the big milestone of the great state of Texas is that Six Flags Over Texas is turning 65 years young this year. And we've really begun a major golden renaissance transformation that we began this summer and took a brief pause in January and reopening in late February to really make that park shine for its 65th anniversary.
That's amazing. That's the original park too, isn't it?
It is the OG. It is the one that started the entire regional theme park industry. That before OT opened in the early 60s, there was no such thing as a regional theme park. And there was definitely no such thing as Six Flags. So Angus Wynn and his family and other partners and investors, and the story is young, but no doubt the innovation that park has created for all of us. Our most loved attractions began there. From log flumes to mine trains to you name it, that park has just been a staple of the industry. And we could not be more excited about the future of the park and really making it shine and the true gem that we know not only it is for Six Flags, but really for the entire state and the entire enthusiast community. We're polishing that Lone Star that flies high above the gates. And no doubt that park will just shine for all of us and for all of our future guests as we reopen in late February.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. I got to ask, when you were also going through your introduction there, when you say you go to like other parks and when you're not working, do you also like check out attractions for possibly like for your future in parks whenever you make decisions? Do you also like check out other new things like that?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And being just a fellow enthusiast and growing up with so many folks, there's now leaders that I've been friends with for 30 years, basically at every theme park company on planet Earth, from Imagineers to Universal Creative, you name it. There's just great folks that are doing really cool and innovative things throughout the entire industry. No doubt, Epic is just fantastic. If you have not gone to Universal Epic, truly just the scale, the fun, the Universal Monsters, the Harry Potter expansion, Dragons, Mario. I mean, you name it. Just what they have done there is phenomenal. Of course, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm buying the shirts and I'm wearing the merch everywhere I go, along with all the other stuff. But what's so cool is when you get to do that and kind of bring those innovations home, you see a lot of that spirit at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. You see that in our ride theming and cues and storytelling. And no doubt we're going to continue that. But you really see that as well of what we're doing at Six Flags Over Texas with. You probably have seen some of the teasing and the reimagining we're doing to Mr. Freeze, which is a beloved attraction, but just making that queue experience more thematic, more exciting, and then also reigniting a lot of our classic rides. We are just absolutely loving on our log flumes. While other parks have gotten rid of their flumes, we're like, no. Let's bring these for the next generation. So we're completely restoring them, refurbishing them, bringing back theming and storytelling, and making sure that the flumes will live on for generations to come. The mine train. Oh my gosh, that thing is just so much fun. It's long, it's crazy. It was a world's first, so same thing. Reimagining it, bringing it back to a better life. There used to be waterfalls and water features that the team has already been reignited, which haven't been on in decades, that have added to the ride, but just going ride by ride, attraction by attraction, and really just loving on the park and making it shine for this upcoming year. And so when our guests say, well, what are you fixing and what are you working on? The answer is yes and everything. We're working on, we're trying to do 9 years worth of work every week. And that's why we did take the brief pause so we could just really tear some stuff up, build it new, fix, get Tormenta without working around park operation, surfacing, you name it, paint and scrub and clean and theming, just trying to get it all done before we swing the gates open. And of course, Tormenta later this year.
I was going to ask if you had to give a percent on how far along Tormenta is. How far along are you with the building process?
I want to say that, again, we're close to 4,200 feet of track. We're about 3,000 feet to go. So
Okay.
some assembly is still required. If anyone has an Allen wrench, get out your Allen wrench and follow the, so that we're about to begin, or I should say we've started the Emelman, which is, is a hyper inversion. It's one of the few hyper inversions on planet Earth, and it's actually the world's largest Emelman ever created, and it's just going to be spectacular. It's over 218 feet tall, so the Emelman is well underway and should be finished by next week. And there's a huge pullout just because of the amount of speed coming out of the Emelman, being that, basically a hyper inversion, which no one in the country has really gone. There's no hyper inversion anywhere except currently in Saudi at our own park that we just opened. And then going into the world's largest vertical loop, which stands almost 180 feet. The loop is enormous. Truly, if the loop was its own ride, it would stand taller than most coasters on planet Earth, just the vertical loop. It's so long, I jokingly say we could serve lunch while you're going through it. And of course, that's just the beginning part of the ride. It's just Tormenta is filled with just so many exciting elements and just fun. More than 300 feet tall, 309 feet, the beyond 95-degree drop. By far, it's the tallest coaster with inversions. I could go down the records. We tout 6, but really the records are countless when you really start thinking of all the nuance that's been designed into that ride, which, as you can imagine, just the scale of it forever changes the way the park looks already. It changes the way that the city of Arlington looks right there on the interstate. And of course, the Metroplex looks different, and so does the great state of Texas. This is the largest attraction ever built in the entire state's history. And we're ground zero for it. So that's so cool.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
That is correct. It means something. And by gosh, with Tormenta, it sure does.
It's another notch that I see that you can put in your belt for first. Definitely Fiesta Texas. You had the first 4D free spin. You had the first single rail. And now you've got the first 300-foot dive coaster, the first largest loop. You know what I'm saying? For me as a fan, as a kind of a nerdy guy that looks at stats like that, I really dig that it's another first for you that you can go, yeah, I was the first guy to do that. Yeah, I was the first guy to do that.
I have been absolutely theme park blessed when it comes to the amount of innovation I've been able to work at in my career, from blasters and blaster technology, working with Schlitterbahn, and of course, all the crazy stuff that we debuted when I was at Kings Island, really pushing the limits with innovation and the parks. And that's what's great with Six Flags. When you look at our history and our past, and more importantly, our future, just the amount of excitement that's going on at our Texas parks, and specifically just the company, is really, really cool. But in many ways, Texas this year is ground zero for tons of excitement. Not only is Tormenta coming online at Over Texas, but of course, Schlitterbahn New Braunfels is getting all kinds of love, which is the OG water park. If you don't know, Schlitterbahn is the oldest operating water park on planet Earth, opening in 1979, and is truly a pioneer where we measure rides not in feet, but miles. So if you go on their tube chutes, there's more than 3 miles of tube chutes in that park. There's a ride called Raging River. That ride alone is a 45-minute water slide. Who does that? Who's got a 45-minute water slide? It's just, the stats are crazy. And so that park's getting another new attraction, and we are fixing and loving on it, which is going to be great this year. And of course, we've already begun construction at Six Flags Fiesta Texas with a really cool new legacy scale attraction that, of course, we look forward to sharing more information as this year continues.
Is that the full moon thing?
I don't know. You tell me. I could tell you. Maybe. What's it to you?
I have 2 questions for you. So the first one is, what are your thoughts on the return of the Phantom Theater at Kings Island?
Oh my gosh, I love it. I have my poster. I actually have the poster hanging up in my office. So, and what's so fascinating is when Phantom Theater originally opened, it was a little disenchanting because the park had an attraction called the Enchanted Voyage, and then the Smurfs Enchanted Voyage, which was very loved. So initially, Phantom Theater was like, oh, we're so sad that the Smurfs went away and that the original Enchanted Voyage went away. And then it saw declining attendance over the years and ridership. It lasted a decade, the original Phantom Theater. But no doubt, after that attraction closed, its popularity and kind of the lore of it, just grew year by year, so much so that the park really maximized it by adding the live stage show to pay tribute to Phantom Theater. And over the years at Haunt, there were Phantom Theater characters who make special appearances around the park and some of the old animatronics. And no doubt, the ride is more popular today than when it actually existed. And no doubt, Phantom Theater Opening Nightmare is going to be a huge hit with our guests because now it's really transcended to that multi-generational category where there's so many generations now that remember it and are so excited. And no doubt Sally and the park are just going to deliver upon that nostalgia and promise of what that ride was and just take it to a whole nother level. The fact that we're using the original voices tells you the quality and excitement of what that attraction is going to have to it. And then layering in where you're now using flashlights to, walk around. I mean, it's just great. It's just everything that we love about theme parks and nostalgia and put into a new great ride that, oh my gosh, I can't wait to ride, with my kids. And my kids are all grown now, but just to be able to ride with them, the nostalgia of Phantom Theater and No Legs Larry. And of course, the maestro himself will be reignited and welcoming us back into the theater. I mean, it's just so cool. It's gone full circle. And like you guys, I can't wait to ride.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then my second question is did you, can you kind of explain, did you have any part with wanting to bring a Giga B&M dive coaster to the park? Can you explain how that all came together?
Well, it really goes back to our merger, that when we merged and came out of merger, there were a variety of attractions that the Legacy Cedar Fair side had already purchased engineering for, and in some ways were looking for where is the most logical place to put these attractions, like companies, obviously, to get the biggest return on investment, and also where does it make sense? Well, when you look at parks of why the merger made sense, no doubt Texas and over Texas in many ways is ground zero of why it's so exciting to be a part of this new Six Flags. It's a huge market. The Metroplex is so large that if it was its own state, it'd be the 13th largest state in the country. And it's just the Metroplex. I mean, it's a small portion of Texas. So it's a growing market, loved market, nostalgic park, a park that has not had a scaled ride like this since really Titan. So if you look at the last big, huge, signature, tall, breaking the skyline attraction, it was Titan, which is 25 years ago. So you start layering in all that information. It's like, oh my gosh, where's the perfect home for a big, giant coaster? Well, Six Flags Over Texas quickly became the winner of that because it's like, oh my gosh, all of those things just make sense. And no doubt looking at the fan base and the audience and the excitement that it has built already, and as you know, it is not even opened yet, really shows that it was the right decision. And what a great way to celebrate the park's milestone of its anniversary. And more importantly, what a great way to celebrate our guests and our fans, because that's why we do what we do at the end of the day. It's what our fans want. And how do we just make our fans happy to keep on coming and want them to come? But of course, we would love them to come back over and over again. And so you put all that together, and it just makes sense that Tormenta, just the scale of it, really will help reignite over Texas for this big anniversary year.
Yeah, I'm excited. Those inversions look
crazy. It's crazy. The first drop, I mean, there's no longer, I mean, just the beyond vertical nature and how long that is, it's crazy. Again, Fiesta Texas was the first B&M ever built when we built Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger. That was the first time in B&M's history they were willing to go beyond vertical. So Cliffhanger was the first one to go 95 degrees. But of course, Tormenta takes that to a whole different scale of, reaching 309 feet and dropping 95 degrees for a very long distance. Should be a lot of fun. No doubt the ride pack a punch.
That's what we were talking about a few weeks ago on here. We were talking about the drop on it. And I'm sure you've ridden Orion. You've ridden Orion, correct?
Sure. Yes, sir.
Okay, so Orion's drop is probably the best drop that, in my opinion, on a coaster over that's 300 foot or most coasters, period. But can you imagine that drop extended out and beyond vertical? Come on, man.
and then flipping upside down after you just did it.
Mm.
That's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I can't wait.
What's the speed on it?
Almost 80. Let's see. I don't want to lie to you. So we are looking at, I was going to say almost 90, and it's 87 is the official calculation.
Man.
Almost 90 miles an hour, 309 feet, dropping almost 300 feet just to that 285. So, I mean, it's just the scale is just huge. And as
awesome.
As you've heard a lot of our fans say, the pictures do not do it justice. When you are standing underneath Tormenta, the pictures do not show the power and the enormity of the attraction.
Yeah. I know a lot of people, when it was announced, everybody was talking about the straight vertical column for that. I love it.
Just one right there in the center, just straight up, straight down. It's classic. Yeah.
So it seems like the people from B&M are pretty easy to work with. And they did you ask, or is this already engineered that it was this, like the Beyond Vertical Drop?
Well, it's called client input. And so we provided a list of ideas, everything from going above 300 feet to the just scale of it, really through our design team led by Ken Parks and one of our other designers, Clayton, who really led a lot of the charge and really pushing the limits with B&M. Are they willing to do these types of things? And as you can see, obviously the answer was yes, because we are building it. So now we just can't wait to ride it, because it's truly artwork. It's artwork that we all get to ride.
So we're gonna need a POV when you get your first ride, like a selfie POV.
It is gonna be exciting, and just that good old hold at the top, look at 309 feet down. You're looking at the whole park. So I mean, it's positioned that it turns back into the park. So you're looking at the park and looking at the oil derrick and Titan, and it's just gonna be so cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
So, I was going to ask one question from one of our listeners, and this one comes from the Yeet Seat, and he is asking, what does the future hold for Kid Flash Cosmic Coaster at Fiesta Texas?
Well, we did share that. Sadly, the ride is not going to reopen, so it has been closed for quite some time. We did put up a fence, we removed signage, but the attraction will not reopen at the parks. It was an innovation that we tried, but sadly, we were not successful.
That's a shame, because it seemed like it was such a great concept and a great coaster. And for what it did run, I guess. We both times we went, when did we go the first time? 23, Paul?
Yeah,
22?
It was 23.
23? And it wasn't open, but it looked great. And then it did open, and then we went this year. And I have a little one named Double J. He's 5 years old. He just hit 48 inches. Big kid for 5. But when we were down there a few weeks ago, he was asking me about it. Is that going to run? Is that going to run? He actually had a question too, but I'll ask it later. But it's right along the same line with the Kid Flash. His question was, when will Fiesta Texas have a coaster that's more of a, I'm trying to think of the way he worded it in a way that I can word it to you, that's more of a stepping stone coaster, because there's Batwoman or Batgirl, and then you go from Batgirl to Wonder Woman, and even though he's 5 and he wanted to ride Wonder Woman, and then he took a look at it and was like, I'm good. So like a stepping stone coaster, that Kid Flash was, that filled that void.
Well, that was the intent of Kid Flash, was to be that next step. But also, most of our guests go from Batgirl to Roadrunner or Pandemonium, and Pandemonium is our spinning coaster, and Roadrunner is the last Aero mine train that was ever built. So that's somewhat of the lineage. But Kid Flash was designed to serve that purpose, that it's another great multi-generational family ride that mom and dad could comfortably ride with the kids. It's just disappointing that obviously it's been closed and will no longer work or operate, I should say.
Yeah.
He did get on Pandemonium. He liked it very much. We did get that in. So that's on his camp. He liked it a lot.
You never know when we'll be building something even more exciting next that 48-inch kids could ride.
Awesome.
I had a couple of questions regarding the Beast, which I hear you used to work at. I don't know if that's true.
I did not work the Beast. I worked in the marketing department when I was at Kings Island. I'm the voice on the Beast. So as you're going up the lift hill, you'll hear my voice.
That was gonna.
Counterpart, Ms. Jessica Naderman, who's also a regional general manager for the company. Jessica used to work the Beast when I worked at Kings Island. So I would go up to the Beast platform and bring our fellow coaster fans up in the morning, and she would be making sure the ride was ready in the morning, and just a great, great person. So there's lots of Kings Island lineage that works and is in leadership roles throughout Six Flags these days.
The second part, I'm sure, kind of know how you're going to answer this, but how do you feel about the investment being made and ensuring the Beast will be enjoyed by future generations for years to come?
Well, anytime we can improve attractions and even make them better, oh my gosh, I think we're all for it. Talk about a win-win-win. And as we know, since basically the Beast was born in 1979, it was an immediate hit. I mean, you look at just from the old school commercial to actually the Beast's number. If you work the Beast and you want to call the Beast, the phone number is 666. Everything about that ride is just amazing. My favorite rides ever are the Beast at night.
Absolutely.
Ride in blizzard conditions. I've ridden that ride when all the leaves are just flying off the track. I mean, it is just a true masterpiece that was designed by Al Collins and Jeff Gramke, built by Charlie Din. And I mean, she just wants to haul. I mean, the Beast just wants to continue roaring. Most folks don't realize that actually from the top of the first drop to the lowest part of the ride is actually 218 feet. The ride actually just keeps dropping in elevation as it goes towards the Little Miami River. And that's why she just keeps getting speed after speed. Even though, as you know, over the years, we try to tame her and slow her down a little bit. She's like, nope, I'm going. I'm just going to keep going. It's just an amazing ride. And even the love on the racer. You look at the love that's been given to the racer. Oh, my gosh, that ride just feels phenomenal.
Yeah.
And truly is the ride that started the whole second golden age of roller coaster construction. I mean, if it was not for the racer being built in 1972 and just the photographic nature of it, I mean, it just really started a whole nother passion for building roller coasters and what they could do for parks. Because before that, more roller coasters were being torn down than built. It was really rare that roller coasters were being built, and they were almost thought of as somewhat kind of obsolete and passe until the racer reignited that love affair in 72, because it's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous, it's fun, it's iconic, and oh my gosh, the legacy that ride has done, because if it wasn't for the racer, there would never be a Beast.
Yeah. I can't imagine a world without those coasters or any coasters, really.
Either one of them.
Can you imagine pitching today, we want to build a ride that takes up 35 acres of land? That for most companies would be a non-starter, but of course for the Beast it was yes. I mean, so much love went into that ride that truly Al Collins and Jeff Gramke, as they were laying it out and walking through the woods, if there was a tree they wanted to save, they would choose to redesign the ride to save the tree, to give that Beast truly the all-out running through the woods feel that they wanted to achieve. I mean, that's pure love. I mean, that is just coaster magic 101. That's awesome.
I know the lure is that they designed it on the back of a napkin. I know it wasn't quite that easy, but I know they didn't have computers.
The back of the napkin was actually John Allen, because the park tried to get John Allen out of retirement, and he was like, "No, thank you." But he gave Al and Jeff Gramke some of his engineering specs that he literally was handwriting for them, just so they had the formulas that he used in building wood coasters. Because wood coasters, although Newton's laws of physics are solid, coasters do not perform pristine to those laws. There's nuance, obviously, weather conditions, humidity, wood versus steel. I mean, they roll different. Most folks don't realize that if you build a wood coaster and a steel coaster both at 100 feet tall, the wood coaster actually will have more momentum and can travel more track than its steel counterpart. But it's all those nuances that obviously John knew in his designing and formulas that obviously we've continued to hone in and craft today, which have really led to just some outstanding pieces of machinery that are out there that are just unimaginable back in the day when Kings Island opened, or even when Fiesta Texas opened in the 90s.
Like you said earlier, they're living, breathing pieces of art.
They are. They are pieces of artwork that we have the privilege to enjoy and ride.
I agree. All right. I have another question here from Belarus. Has it been challenging going back and forth between Over Texas and Fiesta Texas while maintaining your vision for Fiesta Texas?
The great thing is the people that I have the opportunity and privilege to work with every day are just wonderful, lovable human beings. I mean, I have the privilege to work with some of the greatest people on planet Earth. One of the first things that we did when I came into this role, and as we kind of restructured how we were going to manage the parks, was really look for leadership throughout the entire company that could really help Over Texas see its shining star. So we did bring a lot of leadership from around the company to help with that. So Mark Boyer, who's our park manager, again, came from Kings Island. A lot of great folks that are at Over Texas have been there for many, many years, and seeing the opportunities that they've always wanted to do and just getting their vision also in the history of what they want to do. We brought a new VP of operations from Carowinds, Drew Corrigan. So we really, and plus we have new entertainment. I mean, you name it, the whole park team has really been reignited with a really cool spirit. So just watching those guys shine and create the magic is phenomenal. And of course, at Fiesta Texas, a great world-class team. Oh my gosh, if you want to meet fantastic people, go to Schlitterbahn. The culture at Schlitterbahn is like no other park culture on planet Earth. I mean, it is a close-knit, live the legacy, live the dream type of team, which is just absolutely phenomenal. And of course, our Hurricane Harbors, water parks in themselves just run differently. And the teams that are at our Hurricane Harbor parks, either in Arlington or in San Antonio, of course, in Splashtown, are just phenomenal people. So just supporting them and making sure they've got the tools and resources to just make these Texas parks great. It's just been a fun ride. And no doubt the Texas parks are just going to shine in 2026 and beyond.
Yeah. All right.
But it is a lot of miles on the freeway, yes. It's a lot of traveling the 35, I-10, 45 corridor. It's a giant triangle of fun.
How long does it take you to get from one to the other?
From the front door of Fiesta to the front door of Over Texas is under 4 hours.
I was just curious.
Right at 30. Yeah.
When we took our trip a few weeks ago, we stayed in Houston. We have family in Houston. And, I guess he asked this question and then left. I'm out. But it took us about 3 hours to get to San Antonio. So I was just curious how long it took to get from one to the other.
Yeah, Houston is closer. So Houston is closer than Dallas from San Antonio.
Okay.
And because you're also going to the Schlitterbahn parks too, right?
That's correct. So luckily, I home office in San Antonio at Fiesta Texas. And I turn left to go to Fiesta Texas out of my driveway. I turn right to go to Schlitterbahn. So Schlitterbahn is about 15 miles from where I live. So it's nice. Between
nice.
Parks. The furthest park to get to is Schlitterbahn Galveston Island, which does take a little bit longer because it is south of the city. So I go to typically when I'm in Houston, I go to Splashtown, which is north of the city, and Schlitterbahn Galveston Island, which is south of the city. And Galveston Island actually celebrates its 20th anniversary this year. So it's going to be a fun season for those guys as well.
Was there a Schlitterbahn on South Padre Island at one point?
Yes. Yep. There was a Schlitterbahn in South Padre that is currently still operating, but it's not a Schlitterbahn park. There was also a Schlitterbahn in Corpus Christi that also long ago closed. And then there was also a Schlitterbahn in Kansas City. And then there were proposed Schlitterbahns when I worked for the company all over the place. Yeah. So the company was aggressively building Schlitterbahns coast to coast and even some potential international back in the day when Schlitterbahn was run as its own independent company.
Is the original family still involved with Schlitterbahn at all, or are they completely?
They are not. After Cedar Fair made the acquisition, the family no longer operates or has any involvement with the Schlitterbahn parks, except for at that time Jeff Henry, who was one of the owners. He actually acquired Schlitterbahn Beach on South Padre. So although it's not a Schlitterbahn park, Jeff Henry, who's one of the owners, still operates and maintains the beach water park on South Padre to this day.
Okay.
Yeah.
The beach, there's one by Kings Island.
It was the first transportainment park. And if you're not familiar with what transportainment means, it means that all the attractions are interconnected. So you never have to get out of the water if you don't want to. You just float while you're in your tube to the next ride.
Oh, nice.
You actually float while you're in the queue, and then there's the conveyor belt that pulls you up in your tube to the top. You ride that ride. When that ride is over, it plunges you back into the river system, where then you float to whatever attraction you want to do next. It's a
So
really,
like the entire park is like a lazy river?
it's a giant river. If you have not looked at it,
Sign me up. Why didn't nobody tell me about this before?
it
Sign me up, man.
is a true lazy person's water park because you just float all day. So just look at the beach water park on South Padre, and you will see how everything's interconnected. It's just so much fun.
That's why I asked. I remember watching somebody's like vlog from that park. I was like, that is possibly the coolest thing I've ever seen.
It is tropical. It's right on, and South Padre has beautiful beaches, and the water park is actually right on the beach. The water park has its own full service sit down restaurant, which is also really nice. The Shrimp House, which again, so you can have a really nice dinner overlooking the Gulf of Mexico. And
Are you still floating when you go to the restaurant?
you need to get out of the water, sadly.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm stupid sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm a little slow.
Hopefully, you get out of the water for other things as well. So hopefully,
Right. I was like, you disturbing the water? Oh, okay.
yes. So as you can imagine, the park does have very large filtration systems. So
Yeah.
it is a great park. Yeah, it's just fun. There's so many fantastic water parks in Texas. So, and when you look at what's going on in the state, not only is Six Flags, but as an enthusiast, oh my gosh, Texas has become ground zero with what our friends at Codaland are doing, with opening Circuit Breaker and that park coming online. Universal is obviously coming to the area in Frisco, Texas, with their new Universal Kids Resort. Which
That'd be dope.
There's just so I want to say the state is adding 6 new coasters this year alone, which is fantastic. So if you want to your roller coaster count up, Texas has to be a nonstop on that tour somewhere because there's just coasters being built all over the state, which is so cool from a fan standpoint.
Yeah. I was super excited. I was planning on doing the roller coaster rodeo this year, but then something came up and now I'm having a baby, so I can't make it there this year.
Well, that's a good excuse. So
Yep. So hopefully 2027.
That's correct. And roller coaster rodeo is by far a fan favorite. We try to refer to it kind of as the low stakes coaster event where you could buy a ticket day of. You don't have to worry about it selling out. It's you afford to do it however you want to do. All 3 days, great. You want to do one day, great. Whatever makes sense. But yes, this year's event will be spectacular, and no doubt our 2027 event will be one for the record books.
What's the dates on that for this year?
I believe it's the second week in June. We're getting ready to post it on the events page, but it's the same weekend every year in early June.
Okay.
And I've heard from many people that have been there that it's their favorite event for sure, by far.
Well,
CP said that.
It's designed for enthusiasts. It's 3 days, full park ERT. The food, I mean, basically it's food all the time, nonstop. So to have our Saturday night, which is what we refer to as the main event, the entire park is open for ERT. Every single ride, every single attraction for hours. So one of the fun things that our fans like to do is try to ride every single ride during the ERT, which you can do. You can just work your way and make sure that you ride every single ride in the park during that ERT. There's no other park that does full park ERT for an enthusiast event. And that's just one of many different things, from behind the scenes tours, walking through dark water rides, walking around the Corey Wall, under Superman, Iron Rattler. I mean, you name it, it's filled with behind the scenes tours. And you can do as much or as little as you want.
And you guys even threw in the booze too, right?
Yes, it is. It is an enthusiast event, to say the least. Fireworks. I mean, it's just everything. It's everything that you'd want in an enthusiast event.
Yeah. Well, I'm pumped for 2027 now.
Right?
All right. I'm going to ask another one here from probably not Craig.
It's probably not Craig.
Do you think being vocally a fan of the industry in general helps better connect with the community and to see how to run the parks better?
Well, the thing that I've always appreciated is, as you know, we have our own language. So that's one of the things I've always appreciated with having so many family and friends that have been longtime enthusiasts as well. You guys can articulate back to us in our own language what you like and what you don't like. And I mean, that's important. So I truly believe in that real-time feedback. So I'm sure you guys have seen that I surf our Facebook pages and Instagram, and I constantly am looking in real time what our fans are saying. So if there is something that's happening in one of our parks that, oh my gosh, a service isn't being provided correctly or a technology isn't working, I reach out to our park leadership quickly so we can correct and take care of those guests in real time without having to wait, and read something that may come out days later or a guest comment that shows up in a report. This way we could just try to resolve it as quick as we can so it doesn't happen to other guests as well. And truly having that kind of friendship with our enthusiasts, my channels are constantly filled with ideas or thoughts or, hey, I'm at the park right now and this happened. Can you assist? And of course, we just want to make everyone's experience as seamless as possible. And it's great to have fellow friends that can just talk in our own language versus our general public or other folks that don't know the nuances of theme park lingo and how things are run.
And then he had a second part. And did the being vocally a fan come from working in the industry, or what was it that got it started? I think we went over that a little bit.
Yeah, I like you guys, I was just born this way. So my parents enjoyed theme parks, and growing up, it's not something that we could afford to do as a family, but luckily both my dad and my mom and my grandparents all had company picnics at theme parks. That's how I was able to go to Cedar Point. That's how I was able to go to Geauga Lake for my dad's East Ohio Gas Company picnic. My grandfather worked for the Cleveland Electric Illuminating Company, and that's how we were able to go to SeaWorld. So fortunately, we went to theme parks as kids and just absolutely loved it. My brother and I would literally cry if we had to leave a park before the lights turned on, because as you know, magical parks turn at night.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just something that's pure magic. So I will never forget that. I will never forget that we are expensive. Parks are expensive, and it's up to us to make sure that we create those memorable experiences for our guests, because for many folks, this may be the only time ever that they get to visit one of our parks. And this may be the only time where they get to visit it this year. So we're all spoiled because we all have season passes and we can go whenever we want, but not for a lot of folks. So, and as we know, life outside of our walls is difficult, demanding, it's depressing, it's exhausting. But you know what? Not when we're together and not inside of our gates. When we're together, our job is to forget the day-to-day worries and create a magical experience. And on occasion, we don't get it right. So we try to make good as quick as we can and love on those guests where things did not go as we had hoped. But luckily for the vast majority of our guests, they're having fun, having a good time, enjoying the rides, shows, and attractions. And hopefully when they leave, they're exhausted and they can't wait to come back. And then we know we've done our job. When you stand by the front gate and you just see stroller after stroller and wagon after wagon of just kids that are passed out to the world, myself and Bugs Bunny and our Peanuts characters have done their job. So, because those kids are exhausted, and mom and dad are smiling because they created a fun day that they'll remember for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
What a great answer. What a great answer. I love the way that you mix both worlds right there. Because, in this community, a lot of people are like, they look at just one side or the other, and that being the enthusiast side or the general public side. And I like how in that answer, you kind of said, we're going to take care of our enthusiasts, but we're also going to take care of our people that are only here one time or once a season. I started just the same way you did. General Electric days at Kings Island. GE days and Ford days. That's how I got to go when I was a kid. So I really dug that story, man. I just wanted to interject that and put that in there. I really dug that.
Love those GE days.
And I like how you put it, that it's an escape, because that's what I see theme parks as more than anything else is when I go to the park, I don't have any other worry in the world. Like I'm interested in the next ride and the atmosphere, the music, just all encompassing. Like the best way to explain it, my real world problems go away at least temporarily.
Well, and the real secret sauce is it's really not about the rides. At the end of the day, it's about each other. Mm-hmm. The rides just are the thing that bring us together. It's a shared enjoyment. It's a shared passion, but it's really the friendships and the family that we built over the years that really make what we do very special. That it's truly at the end of the day, you don't get to leave with a ride. At least not yet. You don't get to take a ride home with you. So it's truly a business and a passion that's designed by people, for people, and about people. But at the end of the day, that's it. We just create these crazy rides to generate fun emotions that bring us together. But it's really the human aspect that really is celebrated at theme parks that just keeps us all coming back year after year together. Because there's nothing more fun than when we host events, and it's like a family reunion. It's like, oh my gosh, I've known these folks for 30 years when we were all babies, running around parks and having fun. So it really is a family reunion when we get to celebrate opening these new rides and attractions and events.
That's awesome.
I will say this, there is really nothing more magical than a park at night with the lights.
Oh my gosh, no. And then if you think about how we've really ignited our events over the years, specifically Halloween, is there a more fun time than going to a park now than Halloween? I mean, the scale of what we have now begun doing, especially as we've begun introducing some IPs, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's complete immersion. If you look at Conjuring Beyond, that premiered at some of our parks, oh my gosh, I mean, that is extremely immersive. And then if you look at even at Fiesta Texas and Over Texas, adding Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Saw, The Conjuring, creating our own kind of IPs that we share. Like this year at Fiesta Texas, we borrowed a haunt from Not Scary Farm. We actually took one of their haunts they debuted, which was Cinema Slasher.
Oh, nice.
We brought it here to Fiesta Texas, and as you can imagine, a giant, huge hit because you get to walk through 6 different genres of horror movies in one haunt.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, wow. Love that. I mean, it's just fun. And fog everywhere and shows and entertainment and scare zones and just crazy fun, runs amok. And to go from that to our holiday events, where again, we're doing the same thing. We're just magical and inviting and beautiful and charming. I mean, these are things that truly 20 years ago were unimaginable for the industry. And now in some ways we're somewhat spoiled that this is the cadence that we've built, that like at Fiesta, we're opening Mardi Gras in a few weeks, where you guys and our guests actually ride the parade floats, and you're the ones throwing out beads, and we go from Mardi Gras.
Oh, wow. Put me on a Mardi Gras float. I'm telling you, it's going to be a good time. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a good time.
It is great. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to ride as a guest a Mardi Gras float, dressed as a Mardi Gras performer, throwing beads out into our crowd? And as you can imagine, it's maybe not that crazy, but yes, it is great. And we serve beignets and hurricane drinks and have award-winning entertainment. Actually, the golden ticket for the best live show last year was actually our new Mardi Gras show, which is a voodoo show, which is great. Yeah. It's voodoo priests and princesses that host the show, and it is just a blast.
Yeah, man, I got to get back to Texas.
Yeah.
Lots going on down here, boys.
Man.
Yep, I need to get out of this winter. That's for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. And
I want to comment real quick. You're talking about the lights and how pretty it is. What about that? I know this is it's not that tall, but I'm gonna tell you right now, the view from the top of the Metropolis Transit Authority at nighttime, that's pretty cool, man.
Yes, we positioned it to do that, and as you saw, it actually heads towards the Corey Wall, so you have a nice view of the waterfalls. And then during our fireworks, it's actually a great place to watch the fireworks from as well. Yeah, who would have thought a park would build a new monorail style attraction in 2020? Right. But it's great. Our guests love it, and I'm glad that you enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, Double J loved it. He loved the DC Universe. We got a little vlog that we made, him talking about it, and he really dug. The only thing that we were bummed out about was Shazam wasn't running, and that kid is a drop tower connoisseur. You know, like he rides every he calls it the kite eating tree because that's what it is at Kings Island, but the little frog hoppers. And he was really looking forward because Shazam's like the next step up for him because he's too scared to get on the big ones now. But it was close, so we're kind of bummed out about that. But we do have family in Texas, so we will be back.
You need to come ride because it is a great ride. The whole tower rotates, and it has a show cycle to it. So each time you go up the tower is different.
Oh, wow.
Which is really fun. And the tower actually changes direction of rotation. So you start going one way, then the tower stops and rotates the other way. It's dropping you one time, it drops you 3 times, it drops you twice. It does all kinds of fun stuff. So it really is a great designed fun ride by Zamperla. It's really cool. And it's been a huge hit. So much so that we have our adult guests ride it much more so than we thought. I mean, it truly is a multi-generational attraction. It is not just a kids ride. So our big Texans are on that thing. So we made sure that the ride can handle us Texans down here because it's just a fun ride experience.
That whole area, man, he had a ball. He really did. And sometimes when we go to, he's to the point now where he still likes it, but sometimes when we go to like a kiddie land somewhere, it's a retread for him, or he's like, oh yeah, I did the same thing at Kings Island that I did Kingsman. But when he saw that a few weeks ago, he'd been watching videos about it and his eyes just lit up, and he really dug the penguin. I really dug how the penguin goes through the Batgirl roller coaster, and it kind of interacts with it on the second lap. It's really cool. I just did a great job with all that, man. And I know a lot of that was rides that you guys just kind of redid or rethemed, but such a great just kids area with the theme of DC and how it stuck with it. Really good job, man. Really good. Double J approved. I wish he was here to let you know how much he approved, because sometimes he pops in on the show, but he really did have a great time when we were there, man.
That is music to our ears, because when we designed it truly as a kind of a newer concept called a multi-generational area. We purposely did not make it look just kid-like, because it could have been skewed down. So we purposely made it where even if you don't have a small child, you'll still ride Green Lantern. Because Green Lantern doesn't look just like a small kid's ride. It looks like Green Lantern. And same with Cyborg, the Nebula's attraction. We made
Cyborg rides off the chain, man. I love it.
That's awesome. And one of the things that we've done at Fiesta is we've synchronized our rides to audio. And now we've got 7 different rides that are fully synchronized to audio. And Cyborg is one, even Penguin. Penguin is like a ride-through book and record, that when you're on the Penguin attraction, it actually tells you what's going on as Penguin was, of course, doing bad things, trying to dump toxic waste into the river. But luckily, of course, Batgirl saw what he was doing, comes and flying in, saves the day. And what's so cool about that is working with DC Comics and Warner Brothers, they actually created custom artwork for us. So like they created these really cool 3D comic book panels that tell the story, where you see Batgirl putting the smackdown on Penguin. Yep. And that is all designed actually by the comic book and graphic artists of DC Comics, custom and unique just for that ride experience.
Yeah, that's really neat.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like you have to have a kid to ride those rides. And so the ridership has gone way up because of that you will see just as many grown-ups and adults riding Green Lantern as you will families with kids. Same about the monorail, same about Shazam and Batman, and now even Poison Ivy, where we had some existing rides in the area that looked very kid-like. But by making them just a broader appeal to it, the ridership has gone up, and now they just look fun and cool, and you don't feel embarrassed if you don't have a child and you're riding these rides.
That was me for a long time, always getting my credits up.
That's why you have to be accompanied by a child to ride all of our rides and attractions, unless it's specifically called out by the manufacturer. But like for Batgirl, you do not have to have a child to ride Batgirl. You do not have to have a child with you to ride Penguin or any of these rides that we're talking about.
I just really dug how the Penguin was timed. Like as soon as he started coming to the Batgirl, the audio on the Batgirl coaster changed, the audio on the Penguin changed, and it all became synced together, like you said, like that. And I was off to the side watching, like I wasn't even on the ride, and I could hear what was going on. And I was like, that was really cool. That was really cool.
A ride through storybook and record back from my generation kind of thing, where you have the turn the page when you hear the chimes.
Yeah.
And it just takes that ride to the whole next level when you add that story to it, which is a lot of fun.
Did a great job. Like I said, one of the best kids areas that was there. He dug that a lot, and he dug the Hustler. We rode the Hustler, older ride. I'm sure that's an OG ride there. And he kept saying, "What is it? What's it? Let's ride that, Pop. What does it do? Let's ride that." He loved it a lot too. So Six Flags Fiesta Texas, definitely Double J approved, double thumbs up. He didn't get to ride the mine train. We was going to ride it, and mechanically something happened to it mechanically, and we didn't get to ride it. But He said maybe next year when we go or next time we go, he's going to be brave enough to get on Wonder Woman. Like he wanted to ride it, was going to ride it, and then when he got there and saw it in person, he was like, I'll wait.
Well, she is crazy. If you
But he did like Pandemonium. He liked Pandemonium. He liked the Pirate Ride. He liked the Hustler. He liked Batgirl, Green Lantern, Cyborg, the train, the Metropolis train, and the regular train. Great train ride at Fiesta Texas. If you haven't ridden the train, if you're a train connoisseur, it's definitely one of the best train rides I've been on.
That's awesome. And this year for Holiday in the Park, we actually synchronized it. So there's onboard music, and it's synchronized the 12 Days of Christmas.
12 Days of Christmas,
Okay.
yep.
With light sculptures. So as you're going around the route, as it's singing, first day, the light sculptures are right there telling the story along with the music on the train, which the train.
He's not lying. I witnessed it firsthand. He's not fibbing. He's telling the truth.
It is legit. Again, those are those types of things. Being a fellow fan and enthusiast, we try to make sure that every ride, what is the story? What are we trying to do? And how can we surprise our guests even with the familiar? Because everyone's been on train rides, but now how do we surprise our guests? And that ride, the train ride has become so popular that we have to run it round trip. We cannot do stations because it's become so popular, no one gets off. So we have to actually run it like a traditional ride. We have one station where you load and unload. So this way everyone gets off, all new guests get on, because it's become a sought out attraction for that and Halloween. Halloween, it's equally as packed.
But that's a credit to you and your team that it's became that popular.
I mean, who would have thought you'd wait 45 minutes to ride a train ride? And we'd have to build overflow queues, and we sell fast lane to the train ride. That should tell you everything you need to know. When you could start selling fast lane to a ride because the demand.
Wow.
That's
I didn't even notice there was a fast lane. I didn't even notice.
great. Which is probably
There was definitely a lot of people on it that day. And it was funny. We got on it. And my father-in-law was with us. And as we got on it, our 5-year-old told our father-in-law, you need to put your phone away. Why? This is not a phone out ride unless you're taking pictures. And I thought that was kind of funny. He didn't want him to miss anything. Put your phone away. It's not have your phone out ride unless you're taking pictures.
And the route is fun because it follows the quarry wall, goes under rides, gives you a great view, goes over bridges, goes through the quarry wall itself, has a fun tunnel section, goes through all the big themed areas, and I mean it's just great.
Top 5 train ride for real. Top 5, man.
Oh, thank you. That's sweet. We're giving her lots of love. Miss Kitty's proud.
Yeah, I'm excited to take my first trips down there for sure. All right, we have a question coming from Whiskey Nick.
Oh no.
He is saying, I started to wonder, with the hype and excitement of Tormenta opening next year, I started to wonder why are he kind of worded this weird. I got to kind of make it out here. Like, why are the parks that are west of the Mississippi devoid of giga coasters until now?
That's a great question. It's partially, I'm sure, due to expense, because as you can imagine, they are the most expensive style products because of the height. The taller you go, as you know, it exacerbates everything below it. So that means larger foundations, more steel, bigger concrete. Everything becomes exponential the higher that you go. So I'm sure a big portion of it is just expense, and also just changing company philosophy, and also what does the park need to drive the business. I mean, there's so many different variables. For those that have been following our company's history, there was a point where we wanted to add new rides in every park every year. And if you do that, that kind of prohibited some of the larger scale attractions because every park was getting something. And of course, we're in a different place now. And especially when you look at the Cedar Fair legacy, they have a history of building legacy style, much larger scale rides and attractions, including the ones I'm looking at, on the screen on this call. When Millennium Force opened, oh my gosh. I mean, I even go back to, I remember opening day of Magnum. When Magnum opened at Cedar Point, going above 200 feet, oh my gosh, that ride looked like it went into outer space. My parents were literally screaming to hold everybody into the train because they had no idea what this, it just looked so tall. It looked so tall, and the ride was designed in some ways to almost look fragile, like it could literally just go into Lake Erie at any moment. It's just a ride that truly set the standard of what a legacy style attraction could do and the notoriety that can bring, which obviously Cedar Point has benefited greatly from in its histories, from It's early onset, obviously, the Magnum, Gemini. I mean, you go through the history, the park has really built some signature iconic attractions. And that philosophy now still lives on today. And fortunately, there's parks that could still use new signature scale attractions. And one of those happens to be Six Flags Over Texas. So to have that legacy scale attraction now west of the Mississippi and to break the skyline and to change that skyline forever is really cool to see and be a part of that history.
Yeah, I think I would enjoy more of that, like a couple, maybe 2 or 3 parks getting one thing one year, and a park or two sitting out, for a year until they can get theirs, so we can get these nice big toys to play with. So,
well, and as you can imagine, at the end of the day, we want to do and build what our guests want, because I'm sure if it was up to the 4 of us on this call, and if it was called Jeffrey Land USA, everything would be at least 500 feet tall. There are lots of folks that don't want that truly, our train ride is maximum thrill. Our mine train for some folks is maximum thrill. Our log flumes for many folks are maximum thrill. So it is really making sure that we've got the right cadence and ride offerings that appeal to a large group of folks, and as I refer to them, multi-generational attractions, something that mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, the kids all want to enjoy together, and they all come off thinking, wow, that was really cool. And that's really the sweet spot of designing rides, really creating stuff that our guests want. It's like, what do our guests want? Okay, let's do that.
I know on a real hot Texas summer day, the gift shop can be the most thrilling place in the park.
It can be, and I'm sure it will be no surprise to you and this group that at Six Flags Fiesta Texas, we have more indoor air-conditioned attractions in space than any other Six Flags park from coast to coast. We have indoor restaurants, dining, shopping, and rides and attractions. And that's why if you look at our new installations like Cliffhanger, that's why Cliffhanger has a long indoor pre-show. Even our flat rides like Daredevil Dive have heavy shade and heavy air movement and outdoor air conditioning to keep our guests nice and cool. And even our Sally Dark ride, when we introduced Pirates, we created an indoor queue experience where you go through a pirate village, again, for that reason that, yes, it gets hot in the great state of Texas, so let's start keeping our guests cooler as well. And also our team, all the attractions that I built with the company also have air-conditioned, climate-controlled operator booths for our team as well. So not only do we want to keep our guests comfy, but it's also important to keep our team nice and comfy as well.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yep. All right. Another question coming from Zippin' Packers.
JP.
Wonder if his Packers will win tonight.
I wonder. Sorry
What's
for the
that?
reaction on the last question before you asked it, but you never know what Whiskey Nick is going to say. Whiskey Nick's a regular viewer. Shout out to him. And sometimes his questions are like way out there. So I kind of got a little worried at first when you went to ask that question. So I just wanted to say I'm glad it leveled out the way that it did, because I didn't know where it was going to go. You never know with that guy.
These questions are being filtered out in real time by me.
Right. The EP.
Yep. So his question is, what has been your biggest challenge as a park, general manager, president, and what did you do to overcome the challenge?
The biggest challenge is just time. Because as you can imagine, the idea buckets that myself and our team have are always full. So it's just staging them in order, and also the stamina of what we do. I mean, working for our parks in Texas, in many ways, it's a marathon. We just keep going. So it's getting that cadence where it becomes manageable, where our team is constantly evolving and looking towards the future, knowing that our best days are yet to come. And it's building that cadence with the entire team that everyone begins to see the benefit of, oh my gosh, we just constantly are always making improvements every single day, even when the parks are open. And for many folks that haven't had that type of leadership or experience before, that just seems weird, because many parks like to do things when they're closed or when an off season. Well, as you can imagine, in Texas, off seasons are very small or non-existent. And so that cadence of, it's okay to keep painting stuff when the park is actually open during operating hours. It is okay to put up Halloween decorations in July. You don't have to wait until September to start putting up Halloween decorations, because there's so much we want to do to make those events better. It's really just changing that culture and then getting into that cadence where we're just constantly doing a marathon. And as you guys know, everyone loves seeing improvements. Not once in my career has someone stopped me on a street and said they were offended because we were painting a building when the park was open. And no one has ever said they were offended because we're re-landscaping or planting new plants in the ground. We all love seeing it. Everyone loves seeing a little bit when we pull back the curtain of how the parks own and operate. So it's really coaching and getting that team. It's okay if our guests are okay if we start putting Christmas lights on buildings early because they love the end product. They like the journey. Most folks don't even know that we put Christmas lights on buildings beginning in July because they're just off. Unless you start looking in trees and start looking around, like, oh wow, there's Christmas lights and it's July. Well, how do you think we get 3 million lights up? We can't do it in 2 weeks. We can turn them on in 2 weeks, but it takes us months to decorate these parks. And it's just doing that in a way that our guests enjoy, and it makes it easier for our team as well, that it's just this ongoing marathon.
A shout out to the construction and maintenance teams down there for sure.
Yeah, it's never ending. We're constantly in rehab. It's not like, oh, there's a winter rehab. It's our team is constantly doing rehab year round.
Yeah.
We just have to make it where it looks seamless to our guests.
All right.
Excuse me one second. I'll be right back.
Okay. The next question we have is from Tea Time on the Lift Hill. And he is asking, how does it feel to be widely regarded as one of the best park presidents?
Well, that is very kind. That is very humbling, and as you can imagine, I do not take that for granted. And it's all I stand on so many people's shoulders in this industry, folks that have afforded me opportunities to spread my wings. I mean, there's so many folks that I stand on their shoulders and would not be in this position without them. And for that, I'm ever grateful. But my entire job is to pay this forward. I may have heard that I just refer to myself as a caretaker. My entire job is just to make the parks better and get them ready for the next generation to run, hopefully easier than even we and I inherited them in, and just to share all this information with anyone that wants it. So that's why, like, when you guys said, hey, do you want to come on? I'm like, yep, absolutely. You tell me when. Because it is. My job is just to share this information, to make it easier, and to hopefully train the next generation just to have fun and have a great career and a great ride doing it as well.
Yeah, I have to apologize on behalf of my friend Biff that commented on every single post that you would post. Hey, come on the podcast.
Even after I agreed.
Well, I had to keep the gimmick going. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like I said, I was a pro wrestler for a long time. So if you start a story or you start a gimmick, you got to get to the end of that gimmick. You know what I'm saying? And it just wouldn't make sense to me if I just stopped before you came on the show. And plus, we kind of kept it a secret for a few weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure you don't watch the show, but we would mention your name and we would bleep it out so no one would know who we were talking about. So we kind of kept it a secret for a few weeks and played along with it. And that's why I kept doing it, because people would notice me doing it. And we're like, oh, you got to take your shot, man. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah. Y'all going to get Jeffrey Siebert. Yeah, sure. Okay, pal. So yeah, I had to keep going with it. You know what I'm saying?
It's great. Yep. Finish the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. All right, next one coming from an avid listener, K-Bob.
Kebab.
He's got a
There's
question.
another one. If he asks him about clay, I'm gonna be mad.
There's no clay on this one. If you were granted $50 million to add any type of coaster to either of the Texas Six Flags parks, which would you choose?
You'll have to wait and see.
Oh.
That's a good answer. Good answer.
Yes.
Answer.
I mean, there's no doubt the innovation through the industry is just so much fun. I mean, we could do things today that were truly unimaginable.
Yeah.
And each park has its own place in history. So when you look at what we're doing with TORMENTA, I mean, no doubt just the scale of that is unprecedented. And the attractions that we're building at Fiesta also will just be so cool, so fun. And again, hopefully your only goal is I want to ride that again. Want to ride it again. Let's get back on.
I dig it.
Yes, I can assure you the best and most exciting adventures are yet to come.
All right. Can you tell us more about the moon cycles?
The next full moon in February. Mark your calendars. It's going to be great.
Okay.
13 full moons this year. Just saying. 13 full moons.
All
I
right.
did notice that there is a blue moon this year. My grandma used to say once in a blue moon, so maybe
Yeah.
that once in a blue moon you'll give us a little more information.
Well, you notice that blue moon is actually in May, and that's
It
all.
is in there.
All I'm saying.
All right. You heard it here.
Okay.
That's all he's saying. All right.
Right.
Next question from Coaster Fiend. Thank you for taking the time out to be on the show. What are your current top 3 coasters of all time?
Oh my God.
Ooh,
Number
good
one,
question.
absolutely. I mean, the Beast, hands down. Love the ride. There's no doubt the first time I rode, in full disclosure, was during the day, and I thought, well, that was fun, but I don't know what all the hype is about. And then you get to the night, and you're like, holy, what is happening here? So the Beast at night is just phenomenal. I will say Velocicoaster is just amazing. Our friends at Universal Studios, Velocicoaster is just a magnificent ride. And then I will say for me, the next one is somewhat of a tie because of just what they mean to me, which is Magnum. I just love everything about Magnum since it opened, but I also do love Maverick. I do think Maverick is an outstanding ride for a whole variety of reasons. That ride just is so much fun. But that kind of rounds out some of my top. The Voyage at Holiday World is another shout out. I mean, just
Oh
a
yeah.
magnificent ride at night. Again, the scale of it is just crazy. El Toro, Superman in New England. I could just go on. I mean, there's just so many great rides to talk about. And of course, you look at Canada's Wonderland, which has had all kinds of fun stuff recently. And of course, Alpine Fury. I mean, that thing is just crazy fun. If you look at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, Apollo's Chariot, still one
Oh
of
yeah.
my favorites. You look SeaWorld Orlando, Mako. I rode that thing more than 30 times without getting off during a light rain. I mean, there's just so many fun rides, regardless of what the name is above the gate. We're so lucky and fortunate to be living this time where there are just so many great innovations that have opened and just so many cool things yet to come. So we are truly living in a golden renaissance of a coaster enthusiast paradise. And we're kind of the ground zero with Tormenta coming this summer.
Let's
Absolutely.
go.
Let me ask you this real quick. Being an ACE member, do you try to influence ACE to bring more events down there to Texas? Do you try to rub elbows or give them like a little nudge and a wink? Or
Well, we host events nonstop. So one of the reasons that we added Roller Coaster Rodeo is because there's so many great clubs that are out there. We sadly can no longer accommodate all of them individually. So that's why we created Roller Coaster Rodeo, which is anyone of any fan, if you're in a club or not, can come and have an enthusiast scale event. But when it comes to ACE specifically, we do 3 other events outside of Roller Coaster Rodeo. We actually do an event at Mardi Gras. Then, of course, we've got our large enthusiast event, Roller Coaster Rodeo. And then a Fiesta, we do an event during Halloween, and then we do an event at Christmas. So, I mean, truly, there's events nonstop. And then OT, we're hosting SpringCon this upcoming year, which will be great. And then over Texas also has its own scale events that it does throughout the year as well, including in a few weekends, we're hosting a regional event called Winterfest, which will be hosting a Tormenta construction tour as part of the Winter.
nice.
So, again, when it comes to our fellow enthusiasts, we try to really accommodate and offer and pull back the curtain and have fun. And that's one of the reasons that Roller Coaster Rodeo was created in some of the events that we're doing over Texas and even at Schlitterbahn. Schlitterbahn's got a great enthusiast event Memorial Day weekend called SchlitterCon, which is the entire weekend, and it includes exclusive hot tub time with our swim up bars.
Oh, nice.
Along with exclusive ride time and all kinds of other fun stuff that we do at Schlitterbahn, New Braunfels. So truly events all over the region.
Nice. All right. Next one coming from Ben Lorenz. What are your top bucket list coasters in the world that you would like to ride someday?
Well, I would like to make it over to Saudi to go to our new park in Qiddiya. I mean, it just looks, again, so fun. Falcons looks fun. Iron Rattler over there looks a blast. Their dark rides look fun. Just kudos to the team because they just knocked it out of the ballpark and looks just great. I would like to make it back over to Europa Park, no doubt. Oh my gosh, talk about what the Mach family has done to truly transform another fantastic park. on the bucket list close to home, Coda Land, when they get all their rides going, our good friends that are there bringing that park to life. Again, just so much fun. So those are a few of the bucket lists. Of course, I always love going to Disneyland, Magic Mountain, Knott's Berry Farm on the West Coast. And of course, the great beach and coastal parks that are out there in California. If you have not just gone up and down the coast, I mean, there's so many great parks with classic rides, classic experiences that are tons of fun. And of course, the stuff in the middle of the country for the U.S. So it's just fun to see the level of resurgence of coasters that are going on everywhere. But those are a few of the bucket list items because there's just some cool stuff that is opened everywhere around the globe.
I agree.
And work just gets in the way.
Right?
What? Now, I have the true blessing that on lunch I could just go out and hop on a ride, which I do quite often, I assure you. Someone has to do quality control.
Right. Right.
That's right.
Let me ask you this. What went into naming Tormenta? Who came up with that name, and what made you decide to go with the theme?
Well, one, we wanted to reignite the themed lands of over Texas. Over the years, they haven't been quite as pronounced as they are under currently and are going to be. So one, really, when I became the regional GM, I worked with our design team to really reignite Spain and to make sure that it was truly a Spain-themed area, not just a general area within a park. So that was step one. So to really reignite it. The step two was to make sure that it has a unique name that is nowhere else in the park system or that has been used. Because of the scale of the ride, we personally just want to make sure it had a unique and distinctive name to it. And then also, what is the theme and storytelling that would fit into an updated Spain experience? And all those concepts led to Tormenta, Rampaging Run. And even the name itself, one of the reasons that it has the Rampaging Run connotation is Tormenta by itself could not be trademarked. So we could not get just Tormenta. So that's when you see rides as an enthusiast, like, well, why is it just not called Tormenta? Well, that's why. In order to legally protect the name and the concept, we did need to add the Rampaging Run. So that's a little bit of behind the curtains of why you see some rides that have tag names kind of associated with it. And that's truly why, just to make sure that we can protect our own brand and storytelling and identity for the future versus other options that were out there. But you put all that in, and that's why we came up with Tormenta. Unique, fun, different, and will be the new celebrity bull that the ride and the statue that forever will be celebrated as this really cool, iconic attraction. And even the way that the ride looks pays tribute to the bull. That's why it's got the ivory track for the ivory horns of the bull. That's why it's brown. It's the bull's body. So we're paying tribute to this legacy and legend of the bull. And what better way to do that than at Six Flags Over Texas in a brand new Spain area? And that's why we're adding a new restaurant, new theming, new storytelling, and just making it a beautiful area for our guests to experience this year.
Yeah. I want to say you threw a lot of people off because I know they were expecting El Toro. I think that's what they were thinking.
As you can imagine, that name came up quite often, but I think I felt very passionate that the ride should have its own name and its own distinctive legacy, not shared with something that currently exists.
Exactly.
I'm just glad you didn't call it Goliath.
Well, as you know, even our Goliath at Fiesta Texas, we have renamed
Chupacabra.
Chupi. So we just call it Chupi internally. So it's our little Chupi. But yes, Chupacabra now has a more appropriate theme for the Los Festivales area, and our team continually adds more theming elements as we go throughout the spring and summer to even Chupiify it up, to make it even more themed, more storytelling, and make it distinctively unique to Fiesta Texas. So if you look at some of the images I posted today on my Instagram or other accounts, you'll notice that we have some new retail that just hit our stores, and one of them is a really cool Chupacabra shirt for our guests.
My wife actually picked up a really cool Chupacabra shirt when we were down there a couple weeks ago.
That's awesome. And you can really nice. Enthusiasts having a Chupacabra shirt means more than the Goliath shirt.
She dug the colors because it's nice to have something that's not. I mean, look, every shirt that I wear on the show almost is black or dark colors, and she was very appreciative of the bright, festive colors on that T-shirt.
That's great. I'm glad she loved it.
All right, another question coming from Greg Fleming. Has Jeff ever been to the Northwest, and does he plan to go to Wild Waves before it closes forever at the end of the year?
Sadly, I probably will not make it to Wild Waves, but I do love the Northwest parks. We're actually trying to find a time that we could sneak out to the Northwest because we want to hit Portland and Seattle and the Washington State area just in general. It's been on our bucket list to go back to. This past year, we did the Northeast. We were debating Northeast or Northwest, and the Northeast won. So we actually had some fun time in Salem, which if you have not been to Salem as it approaches Halloween, oh my gosh, I mean, it's just so much fun. Beautiful time of the year. Halloween everywhere, as you can imagine. Haunted houses everywhere, haunted attractions everywhere, fun sites, just really great people. And of course, there's lots of fun parks to go to when you hit the Northeast as well. But yes, we would love to go to the Northwest, but we're trying. Hopefully we can make it out this year before they close.
Yeah. We have one from the Thrill Dude, Matt, but I think we've kind of already answered that. He wanted to know what your favorite roller coaster is.
Well, if you didn't hear the first time, it is the Beast.
The Beast.
All 7,400 feet of track of that beautiful monstrosity. It is just great.
Give it to us one time, Jeffrey. Welcome to the Beast.
To the Beast.
Keep your arms and feet inside the vehicle.
Coaster ever built. The Beast.
Do you get paid a royalty every time that pet plays?
Oh, you know it. That's exactly right.
All right. Next one coming from Roller Coaster Encyclopedia. Do you think that Tormenta will be the best roller coaster in Texas?
It definitely has the opportunity to do just that. There's no doubt. Right now, I would say IRAT holds that space. If you have not been an Iron Rattler, Alan Schilke, who is the ride designer, just designed so many great nuances into it, specifically that first drop if you're in the back with the hairline twist and the serpent S right at the bottom, and at night it's phenomenal. But of course, the scale of Tormenta could overtake IRAT from its number one kind of coaster position. We will see.
Yeah.
We will see. We'll all learn together real quick.
Depends on how that drop is. If that drop is as good as I think it's going to be, man, like Orion on steroids, I love it. I love it.
9 feet, 95 degrees.
Yep.
Speaking of Iron Rattler, we were just talking about coasters with other names. I think maybe you would have done a little bit more to put your foot down to make sure they didn't steal that Iron Rattler name over. Iron Rattler. It's Rattler. Iron Rattler name for the Saudi Arabia park. I figured, somebody of your stature would have been like, let me tell y'all something right now. We are not taking that name Iron Rattler. There's only one Iron Rattler, and it's here in Fiesta, Texas.
Well, as you can imagine, our design team, in theory, wanted to pay tribute to the OG, which is very kind. That was their intent. Their intent was pay tribute to the magnificent legacy and lore of the Iron Rattler, and kind of bring that abroad. But yes, if we should have done that or not, you can debate till the cows come home. But obviously, it exists, and at least that was the design intent, was to pay tribute to the OG.
Okay, then I guess we can give him a little bit of a pass since you said that. Since you said so, we're going to go with that.
There should not be another Iron Rattler. That should be it.
Yeah. This one coming from Graham. What is your favorite coaster type?
Well, that's a great question. I would probably say my favorite coaster type are coasters that are just long and fast and not necessarily inversions. So I think that's why I love Magnum so much and the Beast, because there's a term that Jeff Henry, who was one of the owners of Schlitterbahn, really instilled in me, and that's the term is play value. The amount of time that you wait for an attraction versus the amount of time you actually enjoy riding the attraction. So Jeff always tried to build rides and attractions that had significant ride time. That's why Schlitterbahn has rides that are 45 minutes long and Transportainment River systems. And I think in Hately, I agree with that philosophy. Just having really long, fun rides that just do crazy things, to me, resonate very high. I think that's one of the reasons on the inverting side why I love Velocicoaster so much, because it's long and crazy for a long period of time. And Maverick, again, long and crazy. So to me, just having rides that just seem to go on forever kind of rank towards the top of my list.
I agree.
Rides that are short are fun, but kind of leave you hanging wanting more and don't quite give you that play value like longer rides do.
Yep. I like that answer. Good answer. All right. We have a couple more. So this one coming from Brandon Anderson, who said, Roller Coaster Rodeo has become my favorite coaster enthusiast event. The offerings, hospitality, and inclusion is unmatched. Has there been any consideration to expand this event to over Texas? I feel like it would fit well in Arlington.
Well, there's no doubt Roller Coaster Rodeo is a Fiesta Texas staple. There's no doubt that we'll continue to enhance the events at OT. So we'll continue to make those events bigger and more exciting. They already have a variety of events that will continue to be bigger and better, like, and obviously the one that we're doing, SpringCon with Ace, will be a great, but if you look at the events that we're doing, they are all growing in scale, yes. Will there ever be another Roller Coaster Rodeo that is uniquely Fiesta Texas? But will there be bigger events at OT? Oh, yeah, there sure will be.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
Awesome.
Next one here coming from Saxon Tracks.
Saxon Tracks. Shout out to Saxon Tracks. You know why?
Yep. Thank you, Sax.
We kind of went over this already, but I'll ask it again. What is Jeffrey's top 5 roller coaster credits?
Well, again, to make sure I'm consistent with it's the Beast, no doubt, number 1. Number 2 would be Velocicoaster at Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure in Florida. I mean, just fantastic. Number 3 would be Magnum at Cedar Point. Number 4, Maverick. And then there's a variety that kind of fall into that number 5 category. Everything from Superman at New England, El Toro at Great Adventure, Holiday World with the Voyage, kind of all round out. I do love myself some Orion, but I mean, there's just, how do you rank all? We love all of our children. Isn't that the right saying? We love
Right.
all of our children.
Right.
We love them. Although we know that's not true. But the Beast is definitely number 1.
Paul got mad again. He'll be back.
Yeah.
Let's see here. The next one coming from Zach Strasbaugh. I hope I said that right, Zach. I apologize if not. Will they drop the kid requirement for riding Grand Canyon Blaster at Over Texas now that you cover that park?
Well, actually, we are looking at what the manufacturer requires and just double check. But the operations team is actually going back through, since we have new operations leadership, just going back through and checking all the actual manufacturer restrictions, and then we'll see what we can do.
Sounds good. Just a couple more here, I promise.
I have a question real quick from the best Misty ever. And the question is, what do you suggest for non-riders at your park? She's the non-rider in our group, so that's why she always asks that question.
Well, the great news is we have been building an arsenal of multi-generational attractions that are for thrill seekers that don't necessarily want to be scared or like being thrilled. So, for example, at Fiesta Texas, we now have an entire arsenal of rides that are fun, but again, are calmer for our guests. We talked about the big train. Miss Kitty is a great ride. We've got the Crow's Nest Ferris wheel. We've got our Pirates of the Deep Sea attraction, which is our interactive dark ride adventure. We have the Metropolis Transit Authority, which is, again, a great aerial view of the park. We've got our Bugs Whitewater Rapids, Gully Washer, which is our Raging River Rapids ride. We've got Poison Ivy, Green Lantern, and, of course, the Penguin that we talked about are just some of those rides, along with Hustler and other attractions that really, if you are not wanting big thrills, are good attractions that hopefully you will enjoy as well and can fill your day. The other thing that we really complement is with the live shows and entertainment. There are live shows throughout the parks, lots of live entertainment, indoors and outdoors. Like with Mardi Gras, we've got great indoor shows, the signature Mardi Gras parade, pop-up, streetmosphere entertainment everywhere, lots of food. So again, even if you're not a thrill seeker, there's so much to do now at our parks. And of course, at Over Texas, being the OG, the 2 classic log flumes are fantastic. The train ride that is getting ready for its 65th debut yet again. The train attraction, the mini mine train attraction, and just the Southern Palace. If you're a show fan and you've seen the transformative work we've done to the Southern Palace to bring it to a whole nother, more elevated life and experience, we're going to have shows in that venue all summer long, beginning with park opening. There's now more than ever so many things to do, even if you never want to step foot on a big coaster.
What's your favorite place to eat at the park?
My favorite place currently at over Texas is JB's Barbecue. We have a newer chef there, Chef Nico, that came from Kings Island and has really changed the barbecue. We actually added an authentic smoker as part of the JB's renovation, which again in Texas, you think, oh my gosh, that's a no-brainer, but the park never had a smoker. So now we actually smoke our own meats while you're waiting and entering JB's Barbecue. You have to actually pass the smoker. Same if you're in Texas.
You didn't have a smoker at a park in Texas.
No. Criminal. That's criminal.
Oh my God.
We take it in Texas right away. But our new chef, Chef Nico, is doing a great job. We have a new chef at Fiesta Texas that is also doing a fantastic job for us. We're so excited to have him. Chef Duke, he actually came from he came from California Adventure. So he spent many, many years as an executive chef at Disney's California Adventure and moved to Texas. So we're excited to have him. And he's also changing the culinary aspect. But JB's Barbecue is fantastic. But as you know, we're building a brand new ground up restaurant at Six Flags Over Texas as part of the Spain expansion. So I may have a new favorite come this year. At Fiesta Texas, Sanger Fest Hall is our large German fest house, similar in design to at Kings Island or at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. And it has tons of new food offerings, from great pork loin, which is freshly carved, to Brussels sprouts. Truly, the biggest shock to me is if you would have told me that we could serve Brussels sprouts in a theme park and it would be a fan favorite, I would have thought you are crazy. Like, who on earth is going to want Brussels sprouts in a theme park and then go,
Right.
Well, the answer is everybody, because we sell tons of Brussels sprouts year round at all of our parks, and it's great. But we sell mac and cheese, we sell the pork loin, we sell schnitzel, we sell all kinds of great sausages, being the German brat. And there's just so much fun in Sanger Fest Hall that there's some food variety for everybody, which makes it a great place to eat and also see entertainment all summer long.
Has your food offerings changed since the merger at all? Being that now that you're on the legacy, we're going to call it the legacy Cedar Fair dining plan, where you're doing the 2 meals a day. Has your menus and your food and the way you've done food changed at all?
Absolutely. Our senior leader in the area, Bob Marks, has done a fantastic job elevating our food experience. The reason that we have executive chefs is because of the merger. Our parks did not have chefs before the Cedar Fair and Six Flags merger. So that is one of the huge benefits to all of our guests is our food and beverage program has moved decades forward, not only from the culinary and the quality of what we're offering, but the speed of service, the friendliness of service, plus the fact that we built tons of refill locations throughout the parks. So now, before the merger, at Six Flags, you'd have to pretty much go to a food location to get a refill. You'd have to wait in a food line. Well, now you don't have to do that any longer. You just go to a refill location that's designed for high volume. You just go up. It's quick. It's convenient. And we added a whole bunch of both parks last year. We've added more this upcoming year, and it just makes the food beverage experience so much better. And then also this year at both parks, we layered in the paper cup program. So for those that do not want to carry around that souvenir bottle every day, now you don't have to do it. You just can get a 16-ounce cup at the refill location, scan your pass every 15 minutes, get your drink, and then throw your recyclable cup away, and you don't have to carry the big bottles around with you if you don't like to do that.
We were just talking about that a couple of weeks ago after my visit to Fiesta, Texas. I said it was our first experience since the merger of a legacy Six Flags park. I was trying to do the drink plan. We weren't sure, and technically it says on our passes that our drink plan wasn't supposed to work until next year, but we gave it a whirl. We scanned it. The guy gave us a cup. I was thoroughly impressed. We ate at Johnny Rockets. You know, we had the little guy with us, so he wanted chicken tenders and cheeseburgers. It was Saturday, or no, it was a Tuesday, but we ate Johnny Rockets. I didn't get a chance to try where you're talking about with the pork loin, but the food that we had was really, really good. And the experience, we were able to get a drink every time we wanted something. So it was, for us, it was very impressive. We were very impressed.
Well, that's Congratulations to the culinary team and Chef Duke here, Chef Nico, and of course the corporate team for really, I mean, that was the first thing that we did was start making changes to our food and beverage program just to make it more accommodating, better, and easier, and more flavorful for all of our guests. And I would say that has been a home run. And the great news is both parks aren't stopping. I mean, we have huge culinary renovations and improvements going on at Fiesta Texas this year in 26, and we have huge, as you know, ground up and other changes going on at Over Texas. And of course, there's all kinds of stuff that we've done at Schlitterbahn and even our water parks. So much so that, again, if you go to Hurricane Harbor Arlington, we also added a smoker at that park this year. And Rashad, who's in charge of their food and beverage program, has come up with just some really great flavors along with the culinary team for that park. Fantastic mac and cheese, really good brisket. So shout out to those guys. That even our water parks have really elevated the food experience throughout the system. So I'm starting to wear my elasto pants as I'm putting on weight. Eating more park.
I'm telling you right now, there's a thing that no other park serves. That if your park served it, it'd be a killing. Quesadillas and fajitas, man. Quesadillas and fajitas.
They're coming. So both of the big expansions are in the Mexican cuisine at both parks for that reason, including fresh tortilla machines. We'll be making our own tortillas. The other thing we've really injected beginning the holiday season is fresh cinnamon bread. And as you can imagine, the cinnamon bread has been a giant hit. So you will most likely see the cinnamon bread served year round. Sound very familiar, as it should, but our guests we cannot make it and sell it fast enough. And it, again, I'm sorry to admit, but when I was at Over Texas during Holiday in the Park, I had 3 loaves. I was not hungry, and I felt like I had to go jogging around the park because of the amount of cinnamon bread I had consumed. But you know what? Hashtag don't care. It was so good. So good. Yes. Chef
I will say this.
Actually hit the recipe spot on. It is so good.
Good.
I will say this. It's starting to we're starting to see the best of both sides of this merger starting to take shape and really see what the thought of behind merging was. And it's really, I can see it. It's going to be fun.
Well, and I use what we're doing at Six Flags Over Texas as the poster child of why this all makes sense and how it will be great for our guests and our team and our company, that we are creating a higher quality experience for our guests, a much fresher looking park, great new palette of food and cuisine and beverages and adult beverages, signature scale attractions, award-winning entertainment, and numerous offerings. I mean, who doesn't want that? I mean, those are all great things. And the folks that are going to benefit the most by far are our fans and our guests, because Over Texas will look and operate spectacular for the 65th anniversary. And for folks that went during Fright Fest, saw the momentum and the transformation in real time. Folks that attended during Holiday in the Park saw even more of it as we're rebuilding buildings and replacing wood rot and painting and scrubbing and resurfacing. They got to see it all in real time. And that momentum is now escalating with the park closed, with adding new monument signage and redoing the Silver Star carousel so it looks more spectacular, the front entrance than ever before. And Spain will look glorious. And the whole park will look fresh and inviting. And, oh, by the way, it's 65 years old. So doing all of those things and really showcasing the best of the best, from entertainment to food to beverages to new attractions. Over Texas really exemplifies exactly what you were just talking about, why this is so exciting. And the long term and short term are just going to be great.
I love it. Well, I feel like that. We had one last question here.
Okay.
And it's another one from the Yeet seat. I don't know how much you're going to be able to say.
One more for the finale. Big finale.
Yep. The grand finale is, can you give us a hint of what's going on the plot of land at Six Flags Fiesta Texas?
Well, as you know, we have begun our construction.
Did he mute? Did he mute himself?
Yeah, but we've begun our construction. And what I've shared with our guests, and we actually did an East tour early on, is if you look at Google Maps, you will notice that there's an access road that runs behind the water park that we use to get around the park that allows us access when the park is in operation. That access road is in the middle of the construction site. And we have been holding this section of our park, which is heavy topography. It's a really cool topographical section of the park that kind of ramps up towards the quarry wall. We've been holding this section as part of our master plan to do something very special. Well, that special day has come. Now you just have to go on the journey with us and enjoy the teases and the fun that we'll have together. You know, it's kind of that Christmas Eve strategy. Why just announce it when we can all shake the boxes and look at the wrapping paper and guess what's inside for a while? Yeah. So please join us, have some fun, go on the journey, and no doubt when we get to open the gift, it'll be lots of fun and we'll get to do it together. So, but I will say Hemisphere, which if you watch some of our bloggers, Daniel just came out today and we took him on a behind the scenes tour so he can kind of see the scale of the construction site. So that'll be one of our upcoming vlogs or video logs. They'll be coming out from one of our fans if you want to see a little bit more. And then of course, during the upcoming ACE event and Melanin Coaster Network event for Mardi Gras, I'm sure we'll swing back up to the construction site as well to show our guests a little bit more about what is going on up there. But we'll be teasing and talking and pulling back the layers of the onion as we begin to share the excitement and scope of what we're building for the future. But it'll be a fun journey together, no doubt.
Be ready for the full moons, right?
That's right, 13 full moons. One is down, a daring dozen to go.
Daring dozen.
Nice.
All right. Well, everybody, that brings us to the end of this episode.
What? Ah!
So we want to thank Jeffrey for coming on and spending an hour and a half, almost 2 hours with us.
My pleasure, man.
Thank you very much, Mr. Siebert.
I look forward to coming back if I'm ever invited again.
Oh, for sure.
Well, look forward to
we would definitely love to have you again. Before we go real quick, there's not a set opening date for Tormenta yet, correct?
Just summer 2026. So stay tuned. As you know, some assembly is still required. Kind of how we began so watch it. We will continue to showcase every milestone of construction. And as we get further along, we will look forward to announcing an actual opening date later this year.
So follow Six Flags Over Texas on all of your social media platforms. Make sure you give Jeffrey Siebert a follow as well. We all follow him, as you already know. Just real quick, I have to give a shout out to our sponsor for this week, as we haven't mentioned it. Waste Management, WM.com, for all of your recycling and sustainable waste needs. That's wastemanagement.com. I'm not sure if you guys use them at Six Flags Over Texas or Six Flags Fiesta Texas, but if not, you should. They are available in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. That's wastemanagement, WM.com, for all of your waste sustainable needs.
Oh, Biff.
Sorry. I have to mention the sponsor. They pay for the show.
That's true. But yeah, once again, thank you, Jeffrey, for coming and hanging out. It was a blast, and we look forward to doing it again.
Absolutely my pleasure, gentlemen. Have a great day, everybody. Look forward to seeing you guys around our parks.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. You definitely didn't have to, and we know that. We'll leave the lamp on for you.
And with that, you are all clear and out of here. We will see you next time on the ERT Podcast. For all ERT Podcast news and updates, please check us out on X, formerly known as Twitter, and check us out on YouTube. This has been a Coaster Conquest production. You've been watching ERT TV.